Christ.
Yeah.
We got a full-on soliloquy about how tough it is, and then you just came up here and just kicked everyone's ass. And I'm like, okay, well, thanks, Shay. You're awesome. So you guys, I have two exciting things coming up in my life. One I am excited about, one I'm not excited about. The first one that I'm really excited about is I get to do stand-up in New Orleans in April. It's my first time doing stand-up outside of LA, so I'm really excited about it. The second thing that I'm not excited about is my 30th birthday is a month from today. No, fuck that. There will be no cheering for that shit. There will be no cheering. But it's weird because it's like everybody else knows and needs a constant reminder to remind me that I'm 30 because I've been getting like ghost subscriptions in the mail. Like I started getting Redbook for some reason. I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way. I started getting Redbook, I started getting OK, I started getting Vanity Fair, and as of today, I started getting Martha Stewart Living. I'd like everyone to know that I did not pay for these subscriptions. So either one of my friends thinks they're hilarious, or there's a widowed interior designer wondering where her subscriptions went. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, it's weird because I'm gonna be 30 and I feel like I should have my life a little bit more together than I actually do. Like it's okay, but I feel like all my friends back home who are in their 30s are like married with kids and blah blah blah. And it's like if any of them came out to visit me, it'd be like having Elizabeth Banks coming to District 12. You know what I mean? Like I'd have to have them over to my Koreatown apartment, and I'm like, no, everything's fine. There's like a giant hole in the apartment from an earthquake from 1930. But it's weird, and you know, going home is always expensive. And one of my friends was like, you should rent your place out on Airbnb. It would be really great because you can kind of get rid of some of the costs. And I was like, are you out of your minds? Like I'm not gonna let a stranger stay in my place when I'm not there. Like the only way a stranger's gonna stay in my bed is if I'm next to them. Like hello. Like that's how we do it in LA. You know what I mean? Like that's the only way that's gonna happen. And I'd feel guilty because I'd feel like an absentee hooker almost, you know? Like I'd be expected to get paid for not doing any work. So there's no way. There's no way. But so I'm kind of like a product of my environment a little bit or in spite of. Does anybody else here have stoner parents? Anybody? Oh good, one. Okay, great. So then I'll talk to you. You know the struggle is real. But yeah, my parents are huge stoners, and the way that I found out that my parents smoked pot is because my mom and I used to work in a restaurant together, and everybody in a restaurant smokes pot. And if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I work in a restaurant and I don't smoke pot," it's because no one likes you and you're not invited. But everybody smokes pot in restaurants, and so I confronted my mom about it, and I was 14, and I was like, Mom, I'm like dare shirt. I'm like, do you smoke pot? And she was like, what were you doing in my purse? So that's how I gently found out that my parents smoked pot. And I had to give it to them because a lot of people, like stoners, usually can't raise a finger, never mind a child. So I think that they did okay, but their parental advice was a little bit skewed. You know what I mean? Like I would come home from marching band practice and in a good mood, and my dad would like pull me inside and be like, the kids at school try to sell you drugs, you say no. Because we have plenty at home, don't waste your money on that shit. And I'd be like, okay, fiscal responsibilities from stoner dad, great. Or I'd get punished or something, I'd be sent up to my room, and if like half an hour later, one of them would inadvertently come stumbling upstairs and be like, what are you doing here? We're gonna order calzones if you want in on this. And I'm like, okay, so we're now a family again, great. And punishments don't apply when you're a stoner parent. But yeah, it's weird. So like, I always got in trouble for that type of stuff. And I feel like everybody has one parent that is slightly more terrifying than the other one. Can we all agree about that? Yeah. Right? Like for me, it was my dad, and my dad. Let me paint you a picture of what my father is like. We're from Boston, first of all, and so yeah, I know I got a one back there. And my dad is like a cartoon character. Like he's 6'4", he's got Coke bottle glasses, a Tom Selleck mustache, a cobra tattoo left over from the service, and a lot of anger. Just a lot of anger. And I remember one time when I was younger, he came home from trying to go to an ATM, and a bunch of guys tried to mug him, and he ended up mugging them. So he came home, He came home and he had blood all over his shirt. My mom's freaking out, yelling, and he's like, don't worry, Mel, the blood's not mine. Oh. So that wasn't terrifying, bringing anybody of the male persuasion home when I was younger. But yeah, he's terrifying. But like, it's weird because he would also try to like, he had this little game he'd like to play called How Can I Sexualize Your Mother in Ways That Would Horrify You for the Rest of Your Life. And he would say like really weird things to me, like, I can't wait to get your mother a lobe and eat her lobe meat. Lobe isn't ears, but like still very creepy and strange. And I never wanted to hear any part of that. And I feel like it was his method, like it was his method of birth control, you know what I mean? Like that would like somehow like mess with my psyche, like I wouldn't want any part of it. But now that I'm older, I've learned how to work against it. He'll call me up on the phone and he'll think he's being cute and funny, and he'll be like, oh, I hear you're dating somebody new. Has he seen you naked yet? And then I'll get all breathy and I'll be like, Dad, that's the only way he's seen me. And he's like, I gotta go talk to your mother, I gotta go, goodbye. And I'm like, I got him. But, yeah, he loves that. But, yeah, it's like my parents are bizarre. And because of that, I grew up a really nerdy kid. Like I was so nerdy and uncomfortable. And I feel like now that I'm older, I've learned to kind of embrace my insecurities. But like when I was younger, I was so nerdy. And I always wore glasses. Like I always did when I was younger. And just now I'm kind of like Linus with an astigmatism. Like it's my security blanket. You know what I mean? But now everybody is always like, oh, well, when are you going to get LASIK? Like now that I'm finally comfortable with it, I'm like, I'm never going to get LASIK. They're like, why not? I'm like, oh, I don't know, because it's a laser in your eye. Like I don't want any part of that. And these are the same people, these are the same men that are like saying this, and I'm like, where the fuck were you guys when I was 10 years old? Like now all of a sudden it's like sexy librarian, which, can we retire? By the way, like librarian is no longer has job security. Like if you're gonna say that, can we be like sexy Apple genius or something like that like makes more sense? You know what I mean? Like let's get a little more creative, shall we? But like it's, yeah, they're like the same guys about, and I'm like, where were you when I was 10 years old? Like where were you when I was getting made fun of for my slight yet delightful lisp? Like where was that? Well, like I had like a really bad overbite, you know, like a really bad overbite when I was a kid, and so that my friend's older brother used to nickname me Rat and would melt Velveeta cheese all over my bike seat. Yeah, it's tragic. Yeah, but now I get to talk about it, and he's divorced, so fuck that guy. But karma's a bitch, you shithead. But yeah, like I would listen to Richard Marx on a repeat, like Now and Forever. Does anybody else remember that song? Yeah, on repeat at 10 years old because I thought I was going to die alone. So, you know, there's a lot of underlying insecurities. But I was like a super nerd when I was younger. And so I'm now going to get LASIK because have you guys ever thought about the fact that if you go to an optometrist that all of them are still wearing glasses? Has anybody thought about this? Like the eye care professionals have opted out of this like freakish surgery, but like we're still doing it, you know what I mean? And I'm like so painfully awkward, and I can barely like make it on stage. Like last time I was here, I knocked over a candle and spilled wax everywhere. But like if I can't get through everyday life, like I'm gonna be that 1% that ends up not only blind, but a paraplegic that can smell colors. Like there's no way I'm gonna get it. No way it's gonna work out in my favor. So yeah, forget that. But yeah, like I've always been nerdy, but I've been this weird dichotomy of nerdy because everyone in my family is hypersexual. Like everybody is, and I like everyday things I can't do on my own without somehow making it to like a very sexual thing. Like I reread Harry Potter recently, and I can't. You guys, I can't help but think about how those book titles make amazing slang terms for vagina. I just can't not think about it. Like what would you do with a man if you were like making out with a guy and he whispered in your ear like, I want to lock myself in your chamber of secrets? Like, yes. So like, I want to drink from your goblet of fire. Like, yeah, sure. Take the key, throw it away, goblet of fire on it. Like, sure, great. Or like some guys are like, I'm a Tolkien fan, fine. If you want to be Lord of the New Ring, do your thing. I don't care. But like, yeah, it's weird. So like, my whole family is hypersexual, and my mom and my grandmother, you guys, they both read 50 Shades of Grey before I did. And I only read it because my mother sent it to me for Christmas. And I was forced into it. And so, it's really bizarre, but like, my grandmother, was reading 50 Shades of Grey in the hospital because she went to the hospital when the book first came out, when I think she was 86, and she went in for pneumonia. And you guys, pneumonia for the elderly is really scary. Like they can legit die from that. And so we all were terrified that she wasn't gonna make it. And so we're all in the hospital, we're getting ready to say our goodbyes and whatnot, and everyone's filtering in, and I went in by myself, because my grandmother and I have a very special bond. And she's like, Valerie, come closer. And I was like, yes, what do you need? And she goes, well, I need you to do something for me. I said, of course. What do you need? Anything. She goes, I need you to go to my house. I need you to go into the dresser of the drawer of my dresser, and I need you to get rid of something for me. And I was like, okay, just to make sure we're on the same page, what do you need me to get rid of for you? And she goes, I need you to get rid of my vibrator for me. And I was like, okay, so I will do this for you because you do not say no to a dying woman's wish. I will do this for you in the dresser, like what drawer is it in, just so I don't have to, dig for it. And she's like, oh, it's in the drawer with my valuables in it. The one with the gloves and the rosary beads. Oh, where anybody would clearly put their vibrator. And then I started wondering, I was like, Graham, is this like an all or nothing thing? Like, are you putting on the gloves and wearing the rosary beads and like Jesus take the wheel? Or is this like, you're on borrowed time, don't answer that. And so I was like, yes, I will get rid of it for you. So off along I went to get rid of it. And I didn't know what I was in for. Like, I didn't know if it was like a Beauty and the Beast situation, like if it was gonna be like the rose, like under a glass canister and like spinning and like don't disturb the petals. You know what I mean? Like, I really didn't know what I was gonna, what it was like. I did have to throw it into Mordor so no one would touch it. Like what, I didn't know what I had to do with it. But I did, I got rid of it. The gloves came in handy and I got rid of it. But then a couple weeks later, my grandmother pulled through and I got a phone call. And the phone call was something like this. It was, hey, Valerie, remember that thing I asked you to get rid of? And I'm like, oh, you're alive. Yes, that's great. Sure, we'll bypass that. Yeah, I remember the thing. It's gonna be burned into my memory for the rest of my life. But sure, what do you need me to do with it? And she goes, well, I'd like it back. I said, well, you told me to get rid of it. It's gone. It's never to be seen again. Like, I'm sorry. And she goes, well, I want another one. Ladies, if you think it's horrifying going to a store for yourselves, imagine going to shop for your 86-year-old grandmother. Because I have news for you, ladies. You have to ask very legitimate, distinct questions when you go in there. You have to ask things like, does this come with a death rate? Do the instructions come in large print? Does it come in another color that isn't neon because it's gonna bother her cataracts? Like, do you have like a mauve or a dusty rose? Like, do you have anything of that color palette? Because I think that will work out better. So I did. I went out and because I will do anything for my family, and I picked out one for her and I wrapped it up. And originally she told me to never speak of this. And I honored that wish until she lived, and then I was like, oh, that's rough. And so it was right around Christmas and the season of giving, and so I made her open it in front of everybody, the women, because I'm not a complete asshole, but I made her open it in front of everybody, and she got really kind of upset at first. And then she started looking closer at the box and she goes, oh, it has different speeds. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm not gonna get you the old like lawnmower one that you had before that had like, you had to like wind up, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. And so you guys, I might not be headlining Awake or another show right now, but I'm headlining that will for sure. Thank you guys so much. I'm Valerie Tosi. I think that we have a lovely lady named